Hello, everyone. We're here at the Weatherford Daily News. We have a good opportunity to visit with our good friend, Eric Johns, who is the district-wide technology director for Weatherford Public Schools. Not only that, but you've been in this industry for over 30 years now.
30 years now, yeah.
That's pretty incredible. But even more specific to our discussion today is the fact that you're a certified hack technologist in terms of
Yeah,
what's the title on that?
certified ethical hacker.
Wow.
I went out and got one of my certifications is in cybersecurity, and I've had that for over 10 years now.
Wow.
So
So does that mean that you're certified to do hackings in attempts to crack
yeah,
the
well, the
process?
idea is that we understand hackers and how they come in, and
Okay.
so we can prevent it.
Okay.
So we're ethical hacking is more like protecting your house, making sure all the doors and
Right.
stuff are locked,
Right.
and making sure nobody can get in.
That makes much more sense to me.
Yeah,
So a lot of this discussion I know we're going to have to bring down to my level because you
sure.
think on such a different level of high technology that the public would have a hard time with, truly. So, one of the most current examples is healthcare. Healthcare has been, for some reason, they're extremely vulnerable and their necessity to safeguard their data and content that they have is very sensitive, highly sensitive. We've also seen financial institutions hit pretty heavily with hackers and ransomware type things. So most currently, again, the Elk City Hospital was hit with this just a few days ago. And they said, in their words, it was very debilitating,
Hmm.
actually, for their operations of the hospital. Tell us a little bit about how this happens. How do we get to that point that this ransomware can get into their system that quickly and so efficiently?
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of things that can affect this. One is using outdated equipment. That might be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Another is not keeping up with updates, not having the latest software, on your
Mm-hmm.
system. Because if we go back in time and we use an old system, then these hackers can just come in an old bug that just wasn't fixed and is well
Mm-hmm.
documented.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we see, Windows 10 will be unsupported as of next year. I
Mm-hmm.
think that was the
Okay.
last of that. And so we have to be at Windows 11 now.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to
Mm-hmm.
keep that updated. But if you're using Windows 7 or Windows XP, like those are old systems that shouldn't even be alive in
Mm-hmm.
your network. And then the other thing is staff training. I mean, it could have been an email that came in and said, "Hey, this is a picture that's funny. Would you like to see it?"
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, sure, click.
Mm-hmm.
And then on a system that might not have the right updates,
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden they have access to your system and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
So we want to be careful with getting the updates, making sure people are trained, making sure the right money is spent for keeping the security, the threats blocked. Have a firewall that scans traffic coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of this stuff is expensive, and I know that even at a school level, we get financial help
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
for this kind of stuff, and we can target those funds. And that's how the state kind of helps with that is targeting funds for cybersecurity and different programs. And we're about to join. We're working on some federal money that would be specific to help the schools with cybersecurity
Mm-hmm.
individually.
Mm-hmm.
But with hospitals, we're most of them are for profit, and the ones that are nonprofit, well, that's even harder because if they're not putting the money into security or keeping their equipment upgraded to the latest and
Mm-hmm.
greatest to
Mm-hmm.
save money,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to have a bad time.
Right.
And I don't know what happened with Elk City. I can speculate all day long,
Mm-hmm.
that something bad happened. And then the other thing with them is they probably have something on site versus on the cloud, because
Mm-hmm.
nowadays everything's on the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the
Mm-hmm.
cloud is somebody else's computer,
Mm-hmm.
and that means I don't have to worry about the backups, the updates, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Google or Microsoft or whoever has it worries about that.
Right.
But if I have
Right.
a server that I'm managing here on site, I better have it secured. I
Mm-hmm.
better know what I'm doing to make sure that's happening. And
Right.
if we don't, then again, we're going to have a bad time.
So, again, the any of us are vulnerable to this. I don't care how many precautions you take, and we feel like here in our office we do a good job of watching these things and training our employees, but it can happen. These things can happen.
Absolutely.
These guys are so sophisticated.
Absolutely.
How does
And
this
it's
get to
not
this point?
really that they're sophisticated. It's that we live in a world where everything's documented now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there's a sophisticated hacker can make a video for a non-sophisticated hacker.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, problems from that. But also, we as humans don't always really get into cybersecurity. I do because I'm
It's your
in that.
job.
It's my job.
Right.
But you're not going to sit down and
Mm-hmm.
read about all the latest updates on Google Chrome,
Right.
but you're going to understand that I probably ought to have updates.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, do you believe that that prince in Nigeria is going to send you some money if you send him your bank account information?
Mm-hmm.
And then so we get, what do you actually believe?
Mm-hmm.
And I've helped a lot of people over the years deal with some sort of compromise.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times
Right.
it's just because we were trusting.
Right.
We believed
Right.
something, and we're all fallible.
Right.
It can happen to
True.
anybody.
True.
We just have to be prepared, keep our updates going, make
Mm-hmm.
sure our personal stuff is backed up. Like if you have 1,000 gigs of pictures and you know that they're great on Facebook, well, that's fine. But what happens if Facebook leaves tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Not that that would ever happen.
Ours hacked and crashed.
Yeah, or it's hacked and crashed, or a CEO celebrity decides he's going to just change the name of the system and dump everything.
Right.
Not that anything like that could ever happen,
No.
but we trust in things, and what we need to do is make sure that our stuff is a little more secure, and don't
Right.
believe everything you read on the internet.
Right. And so if you get this, and I've seen these messages come across our computers here at the office,
Mm-hmm.
and they're very threatening. They're very scary, and you think, what if? So and they're asking for money. If it's very simple. Send them this money or cryptocurrency or whatever, and they'll fix it for you, and all
Mm-hmm.
is well, and life will be good. Should people send money to these
No,
guys?
absolutely not. Because the first thing they find out is that, oh, you have money and you will send it to me. So I'm going to then turn around and ask for more.
Mm.
I'm like, oh, I've compromised your car and all 3 of your bank accounts now.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you that. And it's not going to be true,
Right.
but I'm going to tell you that.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest lies in these hackers situations is they'll lock up your computer. And the first thing it tells you is that the FBI
Mm-hmm.
has your information now.
Right.
And you need to call Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not a Microsoft number that's
Right.
on your screen.
Right.
Your computer's locked. And the other thing it says is don't turn off your computer.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely turn off your computer.
Okay, good information. Yes. And take a deep breath and think about it logically, because I know it's going to be, you're immediately you're thinking they're in your account, they're in your checking account, money's being pulled out, they've got information about your kids, your grandkids. And
the first thing you do if you think your bank account is hacked or compromised in any way is you call the bank.
mm-hmm.
Nobody else can help you with that other than your bank, because your bank is where the stuff is. And the same thing goes with your AT&T account or your healthcare account. Any of that stuff, I can send you an email that says, hey, I just took over all of your bank accounts. And it's not true.
Right.
But that's we go back to the old days of snake oil salesmen and grifters that are just trying to.
Right.
These are not new tricks. They're just using new technology.
Right.
And they're all going to lie to you.
Right. Right. So we visited with the Weatherford Regional Hospital a little bit about their system and how they're set up. With that multi-level aspect of management through St. Anthony's, they have a whole different level that an independent hospital wouldn't have. They've got a team of, over 40 in an Oklahoma City office that are constantly monitoring this. The levels are multi-level, cloud-based, testing, emails sent to employees of the hospitals across that they manage across the state. And they're addressing that on a daily basis. So that would be a benefit of having access to that level of technology.
Absolutely. And when you have a structured approach to cybersecurity, you have an actual plan. And when you're part of a greater system, you have more people to help. You have more helpers.
Right.
And if you look at like the YMCA, You
Hmm.
know, we joined with the Greater Oklahoma City YMCA, and we are now part of a larger group,
Hmm.
and so we have more, just even more people, warm bodies that know more about technology because
Hmm.
we are in a larger system.
Right.
You know, but we can
Right.
still support people locally here in
Hmm.
Weatherford, but do
Right.
it better.
Right. Well, it's a very scary thing, and it's we're very fortunate to have you in our public school system and helping local folks with their technology issues
Absolutely.
and hyper issues with hacking and various things. So, thank you for all your hard work. Appreciate you taking the time to come down and visit with
Absolutely.
us a
Thanks for
little.
having me out.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, don't panic if this happens to you, but they can also contact local police who will put them in contact
With the right
with
people. Yeah.
anybody and take a deep breath and carry on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Eric.